Okay. My name is Jamie Alimorad. I am 23 years old, and I was born and raised and still live in Harrison, New York, and currently my career is as a musician.
All right. So tell me a little bit about how you got into music.
Music has always been a big part of my life, and since I was a little kid, I had been singing. I was in the church choir, and actually, it was in my music class in elementary school that my teacher approached my parents to have me play piano, and I decided that I wanted to do that, and it was one of the best decisions that I could have ever made. And from there, it just kept getting more and more, and I got involved with the school band and the orchestra, and then did more and more singing programs in middle school and high school, and eventually got involved with musical theater. And the bug just bit me, and I wanted to perform, and I got more and more into songwriting as well later on. And as far as once I got to college and really doing it more professionally, if you will, I studied music technology at Northeastern University up in Boston, and minored in the industry program. And I put a band together, and the first band, the musicians weren't as serious, and it was like, okay, that was a really good lesson, and that got to find really serious players, because I didn't want to do it just for fun. I wanted to have fun with it, but I really wanted to do it for real. And decided to tour and write and record under a solo artist name, and found dedicated musicians up in Boston, and have been going ever since.
That's awesome. Tell me a little bit about your singing and your music. We'll talk a little bit about the NU Idol and what you were able to do with. A little bit how you had to compete and who you had to compete against, and then what the NU prize was.
Sure.
Singing the national anthem. And also, am I in your lap or right on speaker?
Yes.
Okay, good.
Yes. Um, in Northeastern, I did several ensemble programs. The main one being the rock ensemble, which was, they were all classes. They were all for credits, which was great. We pretty much would meet once a week for 2 or 3 hours and play rock music. And then Northeastern Idol was a competition in the senior class. And when I was a senior, it was 2010, and the prize, if you won, was to sing the national anthem at Fenway Park before the Angels Red Sox game on May 4th, I want to say. Uh-oh. And sorry, something's going off. And all that I had to do was I showed up to this room. Stop. Why am I getting another call at this moment? I showed up in to the alumni center, actually, where they were holding the contest. There were about 25 people that I think came out for it, and the first round was you sing a song of your choice, and I did "Yesterday" by the Beatles, and they narrowed it down right away to from 25 to 4 people, and then those 4 people sang the anthem, and I won the competition, and it was one of the most exciting things I ever got to do singing wise.
Cool. Okay, I'm gonna have to call you back. I can't hear anything. It's almost out.
Okay, want to redo it?
No, you're fine.
Oh,
I don't
okay.
hear you, but I can't hear anything you're saying.
Okay.
I'm gonna try calling you back right now.
Okay.
All right, but can you pause it or do you have to stop it?
It makes me stop it. Yeah.
Okay, don't stop it. Hold on.
Okay.
I'm just gonna cut and edit this. So hold on. I'm gonna
Yeah.
call you back.
Yeah. Sure. No problem.
Bye.
We're gonna redo. Take two. Maybe if I hold the phone closer, maybe I'll put it like here. Maybe that'll work.
It's me, Mario.
Oh, surprise.
It's me, Mario.
Oh, wow. Wow. Everybody's here. That's good. I like that. Waiting on something. Hello?
Hi.
Is this better?
So much better.
All right.
I could,
Yeah.
not even have the phone next to my head because it's so loud.
Okay, cool. I'm not keeping it in my lap anymore. I'm actually holding it I guess that'll be easier.
Okay, hold it like a little up, but not in the frame of
Yep.
the. Yeah.
Yeah, it's still below it.
Okay, perfect. Okay, so I'm assuming you finished your NU Idol. I'm sorry, I couldn't hear it.
Oh yeah, I did. I did. Hmm.
Okay, so tell me a little bit about what your favorite part about being a singer and a performer is.
Um, this might sound a little corny, but I actually really enjoy making people happy. Music has always been something that has touched me in a very, genuine and uh, I guess innocent way, and it always makes me feel something, and it usually will bring a smile to my face. And being on stage and running around on the stage and performing and really belting out those notes to see in the crowd when you look out there a bunch of people smiling and having a good time, that means a lot to me to know that they're enjoying themselves. And you listen to music and you go to a concert a lot of times is you do it for fun, but sometimes it's a little bit of an escape. And just for an hour and a half or 2 hours at a show, it's just like you're in a fantasy world and you two are a rock star. And to know that I can maybe make people feel that way too. It's just like, oh yeah, I forgot that I have work tomorrow and stuff like that. And just you're in this moment of bliss when you're at a concert. That's really what I enjoy. And if people are listening to my original material on the albums and everything, and they can get a good smile and have it touch them in that way too, then that means the world to me.
That's awesome.
Hmm.
So, who are some of your biggest influences?
Um, my biggest influences range. They're mainly in the rock crowd, but my favorite band growing up, and they still are, was or is the Tubes, a band from the San Francisco Bay Area in the '70s and '80s. The '80s they had a couple of bigger hits, and they were my favorite. They were very theatrical during their heyday and performance wise. So there's certainly elements of that I picked up on, and I don't push the envelope as much as they do, but that certainly hit a chord with me. The Beatles are another really huge influence. I can't say that enough. I mean, without the Beatles, I don't think music is what it is today, and they're certainly one of my all-time favorites. And another one, believe it or not, is actually Rick Springfield. I'm a huge Rick Springfield fan. I think he's an excellent songwriter. There's a lot more to him than just Jesse's Girl, which is what most people know. But he's got a lot of great songs, got a really good voice, plays a good guitar, and really talented. So those three are my main influences, but others would include like Bryan Adams and Richard Marx and people like Gino Vanelli and Yes and Toto and bands like that.
Oh, cool. So, do you write your own music?
Yeah, I write all the music and the lyrics. Yeah.
Tell me about a little bit about the inspiration to your music.
Sure. I love songs. I'm a huge ballad guy, and anything that's up tempo as well. But they're mainly love songs. The new album that I'm working on is very much a relationship album, and it's based on one that I was in, and it pretty much tells the whole story. And it has the heartbreak songs, and it has the I'm head over heels songs, and we're so happy together. And I mainly enjoy the love songs. I think that they're really touching. I'm a huge sap myself. I love all that stuff, and I think it's stuff that brings people together.
Right. Do you kind of want to go through maybe a little bit about, your experience with your relationship and how it brought you to write those songs?
Yeah, sure. It was a very unique relationship. It was a long distance one, and because of that, it made it challenging, certainly in certain ways, and very unique. So between the difficulty of not being able to see each other consistently and having to communicate, with other means of phone and the internet. In some respects, because of that, it actually to me I felt a lot closer to her than I would someone that I could see all the time. because I don't know, at least to me, when you see someone too much, it gets really stale really quickly. So this relationship, because of that, it was clearly the two people want to be doing this, and I felt it created a strong bond in a very different way than would be if we were able to see each other all the time. And, things got very complicated eventually, as they would when you're apart all the time. And, unfortunately, on her end, a lot of things came up and created a lot of problems. And, it was more hard on her than it was on me. And she needed to just take a step away and kind of reassess where she was in her life and needed some time for herself, which I completely respect. So we then just went our separate ways.
Okay.
Mhm.
Did your music help you get through that a little bit?
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. There's a lot of things that I never got to say to her, and I was able to put them into song, and that was really therapeutic.
That's great.
Hmm.
Um, when make sure when you answer the questions too, just a side note,
Okay.
that you use the question kind of in your response.
Oh, sure, no problem.
I mean, you've been doing it, but
Mhm.
just so you remember, because they're gonna cut me out of this whole thing. So it's like I never existed.
Okay, that's no problem.
What do you think your biggest break has been so far?
I honestly think my biggest break so far has been actually just a couple of weeks ago when I was out in Los Angeles and I was able to play two shows out there, one at the Whiskey A Go Go and one at the Roxy, and the places were packed and there were a lot of industry people there, and that has kind of started the ball really rolling, as far as moving it into a more national scene. And as far as my initial break to even get into the recording studio, that definitely happened my senior year of college. I won a contest which won me free studio time. And with that studio time, I recorded my first album, and I hit it off with the producer and the owner of the studio, and we've been working there ever since.
Oh, great.
Hmm.
Um, so tell me your current living situation and how you are able to pay your bills.
Okay.
In addition to your parents being a big support system, because I saw that in your application.
Sure. I do live at home. I do temp work every now and then, especially with PepsiCo, the soda company. I do a lot of work there in the meeting services department every now and then. Otherwise, I do give vocal and piano lessons, and a couple of students actually take guitar. So that's mainly how I support myself. My drummer actually lives with me. He moved in when he graduated from Boston, and he's actually from Alaska. So it was either go back to Anchorage or and commute from there to rehearse, which would have been a real pain in the butt. And so he's here now, and so it's like I'm an only child, so I have a brother for the first time, which is pretty cool. And we're here, and we have our space. It can be clustered at time, but we have our space, and I sometimes paying bills can be a challenge and having to fund all my own recording and music stuff. But between the temp work and the lessons, it's been okay. And then of course gigs. You get paid for gigs.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
So talk about your parents a little bit for me.
Sure. I'm at 14 minutes. So should I?
Oh,
What?
stop it. Sorry.
Okay.
Yeah, stop it and then restart it.
Okay.
Thank you.
Let's do
Had
that.
my timer going.
Yep. Pause.